This will be for the Kuta software worksheet, adding and subtracting polynomials. So you want to remember, in order to combine like terms, the variables or letters and the exponents must match. Okay, and what I mean by combine is add or subtract. So if we wanted to add 2a to the third b squared plus 3a to the third b squared, we can do that because we have a and b on both terms, and a is to the third power on both terms, b is to the second power. So you just take the coefficient, the number in front of the variables, and add 2 plus 3, you have 5. And then you rewrite the variable terms with their exponents, a to the third and b squared. So the letters or variables have to match, and the exponents have to match as well. So let's say we had 3a squared b to the third minus 2a to the third b squared. There is nothing you can do to combine these terms, okay, because a is to the second power and a is to the third power. B is to the third and b is to the second. These do not match, therefore we cannot combine them. Okay, if there is no coefficient in front of the variable, it is automatically a 1, okay, but you want to keep the plus minus sign. So if you have an x with no number in front of it, it is automatically 1x. That's the same thing. If you have a negative y, you can place a 1 in front of it, and it is also considered negative 1y. That's the same thing. Okay, and finally, if you distribute a positive sign, nothing changes. But if you distribute a negative sign, all plus or minus signs change. So if you had 1 plus parentheses a minus b plus c, you're distributing a positive sign and nothing changes, okay? Just distributing this positive sign really doesn't do anything. You still have 1 plus a and then plus negative b plus positive c. So the a is still positive, the b is still negative, and the c is still positive. None of the plus minus signs change. Now if you have 1 minus parentheses a minus b plus c, all of the plus minus signs will change because you have to distribute this negative to each term. So you start with the 1, and then you would have minus a minus negative b. The two negatives make it positive b. And then minus c. Okay, so notice each sign changed. We had positive a and then negative a. We had negative b and then positive b. Positive c, negative c. This negative sign changed the sign of everything in the parentheses. Okay, problem number 1, we have a positive sign. So this positive sign will get distributed, but really it doesn't change anything here. So we just want to look for variables and exponents that match. I see we have 5p squared and 2p squared. So adding the 5 and the 2, that would give us 7, and you keep the p squared. Now for the negative 3, there is no other constant term, so we just leave that as is. And then finally, negative 3p to the third, there is no other term with p to the third, so we just leave that as is. Now, in their answers, they put the larger exponents first, okay? You don't necessarily have to do that, but if you want to match what they have, it would be negative p to the third, negative 3p to the third, since 3 is the largest exponent, plus 7p squared, and then minus 3. Okay, you don't, like I said, you don't have to do that, but that's generally what they did to where they have their answers at the end. All right, let's try number 11. We see here we have a negative sign that needs to be distributed right here. Okay, so basically we can keep what we have in these parentheses and just rewrite it. Okay, and we said this negative sign, when distributed, will change the sign of each of these terms. So negative 10a, and then negative times negative 2a to the 5th gives us a positive 2a to the 5th. And negative times negative 14a to the 4th gives us positive 14a to the 4th. Okay, so notice each sign, plus minus sign, changed when we distributed the negative. Okay, and now we want to match the like terms. 12a to the 5th plus 2a to the 5th. 12 plus 2 is 14, and you keep a to the 5th. Okay, negative 6a minus 10a will give us negative 16a. And then finally, here we have a to the 3rd, here we have a to the 4th. Those do not match, so we cannot combine them. So just write negative 10a to the 3rd and positive 14a to the 4th. Final answer. Like I said, they probably wrote a to the 4th as the second term, then next they wrote a to the 3rd, and next they wrote regular a, because they put the larger exponents, the greater exponents first in descending order. All right, let's look at problem number 30. We have a positive sign to distribute here, so all of these stay the same, and a negative sign to distribute here, so those actually change. All right. So let's start with y to the 3rd. Okay, I'm going to grab all my y to the 3rds. Remember, no coefficient means it's automatically a 1. Okay, so we have 1y to the 3rd plus 6y to the 3rd, and nothing else where it's just y to the 3rd. Okay, so 6y to the 3rd plus 1y to the 3rd is going to be 7y to the 3rd. So I'll cross that out, and that as well. Okay, and here I have negative 7x to the 4th y to the 4th plus 4x to the 4th y to the 4th. So negative 7 plus 4 will give us negative 3 x to the 4th y to the 4th. So I'll cross those off. All right, and for the rest, I'm going to distribute the negative sign just so we don't get confused. So I'm going to rewrite negative 10 x to the 4th y to the 3rd. Cross that off. Okay, so I got everything so far except for this. Distribute the negative, negative x to the 4th y to the 3rd. And negative 6x to the 4th y to the 4th. Notice when I distributed the negative, the signs changed. The plus minus sign changed on both of those terms. They both became negative. All right. So 7y to the 3rd. There's no other one with y to the 3rd. And here we have x to the 4th, y to the 4th, x to the 4th, y to the 4th. So this is negative 3 And this is -6. -3 plus -6 is -9. And you want to keep x to the 4th, y to the 4th. Okay, cross both of those off. And here we have x to the 4th, y to the 3rd. X to the 4th, y to the 3rd. The coefficient right here is automatically a 1. Okay, so we have -10 plus -1. That's going to be -11. And then rewrite x to the 4th, y to the 3rd. Final answer. All right, I highly recommend each time you either rewrite a term or combine like terms that you cross off what you completed already. This way, you're less likely to make a mistake because you keep track of what you did so far. All right, I'll show you one other method that's really the same thing on number 27 if you like to combine like terms vertically. All right, so I'll rewrite this here, 4x squared plus 7x to the 3rd y squared. All right, and the negative sign here, when distributed, it changes the plus minus sign on all of these terms. So -6x squared becomes positive 6x squared. -7 becomes positive 7 x to the 3rd y squared. And -4x is positive 4x. Okay, and again, distribute the negative, the sign changes. Positive 10x is now -10x. And positive 9x squared is now -9x squared. All right, so if you want to combine like terms vertically, here we have 4x squared plus 6x squared. And let's look for the other x squared right here, -9x squared. So that would be -9x squared. All right, and then we have 7x to the 3rd y squared. Right here is also 7x to the 3rd y squared. We'll write it underneath. Okay, and 4x minus 10x, we can put the minus 10x underneath and cross out minus 10x. Now we just combine everything that's not crossed out. So 4 plus 6 is 10, minus 9 is just 1. And we keep the x squared. 7 plus 7 is 14. And we keep x to the 3rd y squared. And finally, 4x minus 10x is -6x. And that's it. So you can cross them out as you do it to make sure you got everything. I would just take this -6x and write it over here. And that will be the final answer. So if you like adding and subtracting vertically, you can certainly do it that way as well.